All right, looks like I am live. Hey everyone, welcome to JP's Budget Collecting. I know what? Well, tell him. Tell him. I don't know if you can hear the cat or not, but she's talking to you. So welcome to JP's Budget Collecting and my recap of Star Wars Celebration. For some reason, when I originally scheduled this, I scheduled it for tomorrow, even though I had always intended to do it tonight when I got home. Come here. The cat is demanding attention. So she will get attention. So I may or may not get joined by anybody because nobody's really expecting me to go live. So we will see if anybody hops in here. If not, I'm just going to talk for a little bit about Star Wars Celebration, my thoughts, the things I really enjoyed, the things that were not so good. Not that there were many of them, but there were a couple things. And just kind of give you guys a recap. I also got some books I may or may not show that I've picked up from the last couple of weeks, kind of from my new pulls. Since I didn't do a Sunday live stream this week because I was in Chicago visiting my sister and my niece and nephew and just doing that kind of stuff. So, and then just some other stuff related to what's coming up on my channel and talk about that. So, doesn't look like I got anybody in here yet, but that is okay. I'm going to go on. Like I said, I didn't really advertise this. Well, I kind of messed it up because everybody thought it was going to be tomorrow, but I went on and did it tonight because that's when I wanted to do it and I had time to do it. So that may be why nobody is hopping in just yet. All right. So Star Wars Celebration. I'd never been to one. This is the first one I went to. So when we found out I was going to be in Chicago, my sister and I decided we wanted to go. We were big Star Wars fans. I'm a big Star Wars fan. Have been since I was a kid. It's probably the first kind of nerdy fandom that kind of hooked me into all the rest. Like before I was a DC guy. Hey, Bake, how's it going, man? Just going to do a real quick recap of Star Wars Celebration and just kind of going to ramble about the weekend, what I thought, what I enjoyed, my couple of little complaints that are somewhat small, but and just kind of talk about it a little bit. But like I was saying, Star Wars is kind of the fandom that got me into nerdy stuff. Long before I was into comic books or DC characters or Marvel characters or anything like that, I was a big Star Wars guy. Yeah, it was definitely a good time. So basically, when we found out I was going to Chicago last year, my sister and I sort of jumped on it. Oh, I don't like that closet. Looks a mess. So good. Close the closet doors. They try to fall over. And that'll be entertaining for later. Anyway, watches me try to fall over my chair. I totally forgot what I was going to say. We saw it was going to be in Chicago around this time last year. I think it was like June when they announced it. And we waited just a few days after tickets went on sale to make our decision. And by then, the 5-day passes were gone and the Saturday passes were gone. So we bought Friday and Sunday, which is realistically, we weren't going to be able to do 5 days anyway with her job and my job. And just budget-wise, 5 days is probably never going to be an option for us. We probably would have done Saturday if it hadn't been sold out, but we did Friday and Sunday. So the way Star Wars Celebration works is they have the way they did it this time is, unlike most of your cons, there's not really like an artist alley or anything. It's really centered around the panels. There is a big like main hall, exhibit hall with lots of like toy vendors, and there are some artists and a lot of the cosplay people, and then some actual stores like FYE and places like that have booths. Hey JD, what's going on, man? So it's not as big as like C2E2, like the floor space, although there is a huge area where they just do celebrity signatures. It's like quite a bit. That's just as big as any con, if not bigger. That appears to be a big part of Star Wars convention. We didn't do any celebrity signatures. It was basically like the cheapest people, which were like some of the lesser known voice actors from the cartoons and stuff, were like $50 for a sig, $50 for a pic. So if you wanted a selfie and something signed, it was going to be $100 for even like the cheapest people. And so we didn't do that. So it's really about the panels. The way they did the panels, they had one big panel a day that you had to put in for a lottery to get in. So on Friday, that was episode 9. Saturday, that was the new Disney Star Wars Galaxy Edge Park thing that's coming. Sunday was Mandalorian, and today it was the Phantom Menace 20-year anniversary panel. And then they obviously had a bunch of other panels, but none of those were on lotteries. You were supposed to, we'll get into my pet peeve. My biggest complaint about the whole thing is you were supposed to be able to so people didn't have to stand online all the time. Like every morning you were supposed to be able to queue into the panels that you wanted to kind of reserve your spot through the app. The app didn't work all weekend. It never worked for me. My sister did finally get it to work for her to get it to the store, the little show store or whatever. But that never worked for me. It didn't work for almost anybody. It was a big, giant disaster. They knew it was a disaster. They were trying to fix it. But yeah, the app just was they tried to do a whole bunch of stuff through the app in terms of trying to get into panels and that kind of stuff. And it just didn't work. So that was probably my biggest complaint. There were a couple other things that I felt like a company like Disney, I almost said DC, Disney should have been on top of. There were some things that were just details, and some of that could have just been the venue. But they do C2E2. I would have thought they'd have been a little more on top of things. But otherwise, it was great. So we put in for the lottery for the 2 days you were there for the big panels, episode 9 and The Mandalorian. You guys, if you watched the live stream, got to see everything we saw for episode 9. Now, I don't know if so we won the overflow lottery for episode 9. So we were not in the main Wintrust arena that you guys were seeing. We were in another one of the stages where basically we were just watching it on a movie theater screen for all intents and purposes. But we had seats and reserved spots, whereas Kavi had to he didn't get into the episode 9, even the overflow. So he had to run into the show and stand the whole time in the crowd and that kind of stuff. So we at least had reserved spots where we could sit and watch it with a whole bunch of Star Wars people. But there really wasn't much bonus to winning the overflow other than that we had a reserved spot to watch it because, like I said, you guys got to see everything we did. We had the dog is going crazy in the other room. We had we didn't get any swag for that. I think the people in the arena got swag for being in the panel, but we did not, even in the overflow. But we did get to see it and watch it with a whole bunch of Star Wars fans. So it was definitely fun. It was exciting. I thought the trailer was really good. I thought the panel as a whole was really good. I think it's clear that JJ had a very different vision. I really wish they just stuck with JJ instead of going to Rian Johnson, mainly because I think the storytelling is going to be odd between these 3 movies. Instead of one overarching story, it's going to be this odd story in the middle that JJ's vision, Ryan's vision were in a different place, and then JJ's going to try to take it back to what he wanted. And yeah. And that's not, and I like aspects of Last Jedi. I know a lot of people don't. I like parts of it I didn't like, but parts of it I really liked. But I think it would have been better if they'd have just told one story. And I think that was a big mistake. So The Mandalorian, we did get into the main feed. I don't know, did they cut you out of the episode 9 panel? Well, they didn't show us anything exclusive on the episode 9 panel other than the trailer. Now, I don't know if the people in Wintrust got something bonus or not, but we didn't get any kind of bonus material for episode 9. The Mandalorian, we got a whole bunch of bonus material. So when they cut you guys out of the live stream, they showed us basically what would be a featurette on a DVD. They basically showed us this behind the scenes where they were talking to the different directors of episodes, the actors, showing some clips. So that was what you guys missed in the during the blackout. So it was really cool. It was a good. I recorded most of that even because Favreau didn't tell us not to until after it was over. So I actually have most of that on my phone. Even though we weren't actually supposed to. But then when the panel came to the end, so if you guys watched the Mandalorian panel, like I wasn't necessarily sold on that show until the panel. Pablo Pascal being cast piqued my interest quite a bit, but after the panel, I'm really sold on the show. Obviously, you guys did get to see the little animation where they did like the practical effects on the ship and that kind of stuff. So, but then after the panel where they cut the thing, when everything ended, people like started to leave, and Favreau was like, "Everybody, sit back down." So he had us come back, and I think if you watch Chuckload of Comics thing, he talks about this too. He had us all come back, and he made sure nobody left. They showed us about a 10-minute clip from the first episode of basically what that was is the Mandalorian meeting with Carl Weathers' character, looking for a job. Carl giving it like I forget what that guy's name is. Grief, I think, is Carl Weathers' character. Put him onto this job, but it's like gonna pay a lot, but it's very like not a lot of details. Has to go meet with this guy in person. There's no chip to like video chip with the job details or anything like that. He goes, meets with this guy. There's stormtroopers there. This guy clearly is representing some remnant of the Empire, and they're looking for something. There's a really cool scene with him and the stormtroopers and all this kind of stuff. So this whole thing goes on. It's about a 10-minute clip of the first episode we got to watch. And then they rolled us into the trailer that I assume will be the first trailer for The Mandalorian when it comes out, which I don't know why they didn't show the trailer to everybody yet. Because it's finished, and it's probably 3 to 4 minutes of a trailer. And it looks really cool. All the visuals look amazing. Like it looks like movie level production. And yeah, so it was just super cool. I mean, it looks, the sets, the costumes, the little bit of effects that they showed, the finished effects that they showed in the trailer and then in that little 10-minute scene were amazing. It just looks really, really good, really well done. It does have a bit of, it has that, they talked about the Western samurai movie kind of feel. It definitely had that to me, particularly the Western feel, and what they were showing in those first 10 minutes. And I don't know that it's the first 10 minutes of the show. It was just a 10-minute clip, but, and it's definitely early in that first episode, I would guess. And I am sold. Like I wasn't sure about the show before, but the visuals, that scene, everything, I am sold on The Mandalorian. I am very hyped for it. We did get a little bit of swag for that, although it wasn't, like anything super special, but we did get like an exclusive poster for being in the panel for The Mandalorian, which I don't know if this gives you an idea, but just like this is a little bit of the aesthetic of the show and the clips that we got to see. I mean, obviously you guys got to see the pictures, but it is really like, I'm really hyped for The Mandalorian. Like I love the trailer for episode 9, but I think The Mandalorian was my favorite part of the con or the celebration just because A, we got some exclusive stuff, but B, it was something I was already hyped for episode 9. Like I'm a big Star Wars fan. I was going to watch that no matter what. But I wasn't sure about The Mandalorian. I am no longer not sure. I am definitely sold on The Mandalorian. So, I did not see the Clone Wars panel. We were actually trying to get out of there. I have watched part of it to see the trailer. So we did not get into the Clone Wars thing. That was one of the ones. So you had to. It was in the Wintrust Arena as well, and you basically that one you had to queue in the line for. So when we came out of the Mandalorian, there were already people in line for the Clone Wars trailer or the Clone Wars panel, and went like around the building and around the corner. So you didn't even know if you could get in at that point. And it was freezing yesterday. I mean, it snowed. I don't know how much melted because it had been so warm beforehand, but when I got this morning, there were 3 inches of snow on my truck to come home. I mean, it was horrible yesterday. It was like whiteout conditions. You couldn't, like where we parked, you can see the lake, like near where we come up on top. You could normally see out over the lake. Like you couldn't see out over the lake. It was just like almost whiteout conditions. It was crazy yesterday. The weather was terrible. I came home to 80s, and then I got a video from my sister of my nephew riding his bike this afternoon, and he was like in short sleeves, and it was like she said I got up to almost 70 there today. Like after we just had a freak blizzard thing yesterday, it was terrible. Hey Ruben, what's going on, man? So yeah, so those were the two. Really, those were the only 2 panels we went. My sister and I went to. Kavi went to several others. I think he's going to do his Wednesday, his little recap. He went all 5 days. Man was a trooper because there's a lot of walking. There's a lot of standing in line at Star Wars Celebration because it is about panels and waiting in line for swag and that kind of stuff. You know, my biggest disappointment in it, other than the app not working, is there really wasn't like they didn't take advantage of like the comic artists related to like the Marvel stuff. That was pretty limited. How much exposure they had there, or just artists in general. They did have like an art show where they had like 10 or 12 tables set up with people that did officially licensed Star Wars art and stuff that you could go get some posters and talk to some people, but really was very limited. There was much more, probably the coolest stuff that was not like, and as a comic collector, there was not much in the way of comics. There was a lot of toys. I don't really collect much in the way of toys. I do collect pops, but I've kind of gotten out of that. My sister did win the lottery to get into the Funko booth, but that was a whole big deal because she won the lottery for Monday. We weren't going to be there Monday, so we had to go wait in line at fan services to get that fixed. And the guy that fixed it was really great, but fan services consisted of one guy with a computer. That was the other thing. I was like, come on, Disney, really? There was a whole bunch of other people at the other stations that were manning stations in the morning that were important, like for people coming in to get their will call and that kind of stuff. But they weren't busy at all. But this one guy is trying to take care of this whole line of people that had issues or problems or whatever. But really, the line wasn't that bad, all things considering. But yeah, it took a little while to get that. But she was able to get all the exclusive Funkos, which I actually did pick. She did let me take a couple, but after her and my nephew got the pick of the litter. But I did get a couple of the blue ones. And really, I just got them because, I mean, they're 2,500 limited, and I do have some Funkos. So I got to get the Princess Leia one. And the Stormtrooper were the 2 of the 6 blue chrome ones that I got. She kept the others. She kept Vader and Yoda and Chewie and Boba Fett. But hey, she's the one that won the lottery, so I can't really complain. And then she also kept Darth Maul, but I got the Watto one. And then I grabbed, she went on, she had no interest in, so I just grabbed them from her for the heck of it because she bought everything. I grabbed the 3 Pez's that they had that were exclusive, like the Gamorrean Guard, Salacious Crumb, and Jabba. So those were kind of the big things I picked up. The only other things I really got, I didn't really buy much in the way of swag. Like we went in, I bought like an official T-shirt and like a magnet, and then realistically, the only other things I did was I did buy a bunch of the pins. And I'm not really a pin collector, but when I go to these kind of things that have like exclusive pins, I will get pins. So I have kind of a small collection of pins, but I'm not really like, I don't go out of my way. I really didn't get any of the really exclusive pins, like the booth exclusives, because we went to the panels first thing both days, because those were right off the bat. So by the time we got in there, like you'd go to a booth that had like the exclusive pins. We didn't get any of them. The only like booth exclusive pin that, and all those are going for like $75 or something online, that we got was, she got the Funko booth pin because she got through the Funko line, the Ahsoka. And people were trying to buy that off of her before she got it bought. While she was standing up there, there was like three guys that approached, because I was standing there behind her outside the booth as she was checking out to get the Funkos, and three guys came up trying to buy that pin off of her while she was still in line to get it bought in the Funko spot. Like, the pin collectors were crazy. I had several people try to get, like, the one pin that I got that was kind of exclusive or harder to get was the BB-8. I don't know, the BB-8 pin. Yeah, that's the only one I got that was even sort of exclusive. And I had like 2 or 3 people approach me trying to make a trade for that, but they didn't have anything I really wanted. And we screwed up. Like, on Friday, we should have bought mystery pins. Like, because there were still a bunch of them. We should have bought a ton of the mystery box pins, because there were chases in those, I guess. And those things were sold out by Sunday. By the time we went back Sunday, they were sold out by Sunday morning. And yeah, those chase pins, I guess, are going for a bunch. She did manage to get one. We only bought a few of those, and my sister got the Chase Lando, which was the original Lando, and not the new version from Solo. But yeah, I mean, that's really the only kind of swag stuff we did. I mean, like, buying of stuff we did. It was really about the panels. It was super cool. The cosplay is amazing. The 501st, and then there's all these cosplay groups, the 501st, the Mandalorian Mercs, the Rebel Legion. Like, the cosplay people are really cool. They had a whole section off to one end where they had like scenes set up that you could take pictures with, like the Emperor and different stuff, and they had costumes on display, and those were really cool. And those people are dedicated, and they all make all their own stuff. And like, yeah, one of those groups, like if you watch the Mandalorian panel, there was that whole section of the Mandalorian Mercs or whatever, and that was really cool. Yes, the cat, I've been gone for several days, so the cat is wanting attention at the moment. She is very not too happy with me that I'm not paying attention to her because I've been gone. So, I mean, that was basically it. Like, I really enjoyed it. The people were cool. There was lots of fun stuff. The panels were awesome, and that's really what it seems to be about, more than like some of the other conventions and stuff they go to. I was a little disappointed in the lack of an artist alley or being able to interact with some of the people. Everything you basically had to pay for. Like, the one signature and stuff I wanted to get was, I was going to try to get Timothy Zahn, because I love those original books and Grand Admiral Thrawn as a character and that kind of stuff. And like, he had specific times where he was doing signings where you didn't have to pay for him, but you had to like buy a book and go through the line. But both of his signings were during the panels I was at, so I didn't get a chance to. He only had one signing a day, and just your access. And I get it, because most of the people that you'd want access to are movie stars and that kind of stuff. I just felt like the access was way more limited than you get with like a comic convention, which is partially understandable. But a little bit regrettable, because it's not like the comic book convention where there's, 50, 100 different artists, and then that all work on different series that different people are going to like and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of spreads out the interest a little bit, whereas this is all Star Wars people, so they're all going to have the interest in the same people. I think it's part of why they can't do that. But yeah, there was some really cool stuff. Some of the stuff we just didn't do. The lines were crazy for, like, they had a virtual reality Darth Vader thing that we never stood in line for because it was just nuts. We never walked through the little, if you watch Chuckload of Comics did a video on the little Millennium Falcon thing. We never went through that line because there's always like an hour plus. So yeah, Star Wars Celebration is really cool. It's really about panels if you want to do that. If you're a toy collector, there's a lot of cool stuff there. And I thought, like, and I looked some stuff up, and I mean, there was overpriced stuff. Don't get me wrong. But I also felt like a lot of the toy collectors and stuff were reasonable, not necessarily good prices for something like that, but they were not like crazy prices for a lot of the stuff that I looked at and was willing to look up. There was a whole like section of tattoo artists, which I thought was cool. Like people, like you walked in there and there was like all these tattoo booths set up, and I'm talking like a huge section, like maybe like 2 rows of artist alley kind of thing, and like in a regular convention, there was probably 20 tattoo artists, maybe more than that, set up, and people were getting Star Wars tattoos and like on site. And I guess there was a tattoo competition at some point, kind of like a cosplay competition. But yeah, so that was kind of interesting. I didn't bite the bullet and do that. Next year's in Anaheim, Bake. They announced it today. I saw that after I got home. So 2020 is in Anaheim. But I would guess they go back to Orlando sometime in the not too distant future. Because they've been to Anaheim several times before too. So my guess is they're gonna make some rounds. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot to say. I don't know that I have. Is there anything I didn't show off? I showed off the Mandalorian poster, the Funkos, some of the pins. I didn't pick up a whole lot, which is I'm okay with. But yeah, it was a really good time. I really enjoyed it. My sister and I were both kind of the same mindset that if it was convenient again, we would go again, but that we wouldn't. Like, I'm not going to travel necessarily. I'm not going to go to Anaheim. I'm not going to like go out of my way to make an effort to do Star Wars Celebration again necessarily. I mean, I might do it again someday, but it's not going to be like an annual, like, oh, I got to go to Star Wars Celebration. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I went. If you're a Star Wars fan, I say definitely put it on kind of the bucket list to go at some point. But not something like I'll be honest, in many ways I enjoy like the 2 times I went to Planet Con and C2E2 last year a little more, mainly because of my ability to interact with the artists. And you don't really get that. Now there is like the cosplay people and the fans and that kind of stuff. There is a lot of really cool stuff. You do get a lot of interaction there that you don't necessarily, I feel like maybe people are more open, maybe than like a typical convention because it's all Star Wars nerds. It was a really good time, so don't let me fool that. So no. Let's see, what time is it? It's 9:00. You guys want to see some comics? I'll show up. Like before I left, I did run by my comic store, pick up like the last 2 weeks. I am so far behind on my reading and I've been so far behind on my pickups. It's just crazy. Like I have a huge stack of stuff I picked up from the last 2 weeks. I've only read a couple of them. Obviously, I did pick up like from 2 weeks ago. I picked up like War of the Realms #1. I have not read that yet. Still reading Justice League. Still picking up Ghost Spider, but I haven't read I'm like 3 issues behind. I really need to read and decide if I'm going to continue with this because I was kind of on the fence. But I bought 3 issues because I'm so far behind on my reading. One I have read that I picked up from 2 weeks ago is Die #5. This series is so good. I think everybody on here has been reading Die. You have not. When the trade comes out, I highly recommend it. It is just so good. I have really enjoyed this series. I know everybody's been talking about it, so it's not like that's a revelation, but just kind of a reminder. I did go on and pick up, I don't know if you guys remember, I talked about it when the first one came out, but I gave this a try, this Ronin Island, because it struck me as something I'd like. #1 left me like, I don't know about this. #2 I thought was much better, so I'm definitely going to stick with it at least for another issue or two. So yeah, I picked up that. That was from this week, I think, because last week I only had like 4. I am caught up on ASM Amazing Spider-Man, The Hunted. I'm really enjoying The Hunted so far. So I have caught up on that. Cat, you were like shedding like crazy. You're like driving me nuts. Oh, sorry. She's like fur going everywhere. Still reading X-23, although I think this is coming to an end. I feel like the solicits end after maybe after 12, which I'm a little surprised by, but it's been pretty good. Not as good as the all new Wolverine was, but it's been pretty good. I guess this is from a couple weeks ago. They didn't have them when I went before, but when I went back, they got me that Putri Batgirl cover. So that was in my list from a few weeks ago. Catwoman 10. Love Art Germ. I really enjoyed this Joelle Jones run, but man, that is just a sweet. That is maybe my favorite cover of the whole Art Germ Catwoman, and I'm not sure why, but I just like, cause some of those others are really fantastic, but I do love that. I just like the dynamic. I don't know. I just really love that one. Like, yeah, I'm down to like nobody in the chat now. So Batman Who Laughs. Number 4. Oh, everybody's going over to Comic Core probably because they started at 9, didn't they? So yeah, I'll wrap this up real quick because they're doing their Y the Last Man. Batman, the Matina version of Batman 68. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man number 5. Still reading that. Still grabbing Wonder Woman, even though Frizen hasn't been doing the covers. But she comes back. This is what, 68? She comes back on 70, so which I'm pumped about. But Detective 1001, and then last but not least from this last couple weeks is this Art Germ Symbiote Spider-Man, which I don't know if I'm going to read this series or not, but I grabbed the Art Germ just because. So yeah, so those are kind of the books I picked up over the last few weeks. But that was Star Wars Celebration. Like I said, I had a really good time. The episode 9 thing, like I will put together some clips. When the Emperor laughed in that trailer, those people went nuts in the room I was in. And then the Rise of Skywalker came up and they went nuts again. I'll show some pictures of some really cool cosplay and stuff that I saw. One of the best ones was right off the bat, and that was when we were in the episode 9 panel. They were kind of walking around talking to people, and there was a guy dressed up as a combination of Old Man Luke and the Dude. And he had a white Russian made with the blue milk, and it was just a really cool concept. It was just really fun. Some of the others, I do have a picture of him. It's not a great picture because he was kind of in the distance. And then there was a couple of, you guys saw the Darth helmet and some of the others. I wish I'd recorded the picture of me with the Jawa, and then there was an Ewok. Somebody was an Ewok, and they were like, the Ewok was hitting pretend like he was hitting the Jawa with the. It was just really good. The cosplayers were really good. But yeah, other than that, not much going on. I am at announcement time just for the channel here right at the end. I'm at 196 subscribers. So hopefully I'll go over 200 sometime in the next few days. Once I go over 200, I think I am going to go on and start the 220 subscriber giveaway. So I will, sometime in the next week or so, I hope to be posting a video. I haven't decided for sure everything I'm going to ask you guys to do. But just kind of a reminder, if you made it this far in the video, just your reminder that once I get over 200, I will start my 220 subscriber giveaway. And this will be this original sketch cover by Kevin McCoy of Black Cats is what I'm giving away for that. So that is your guys' reminder to check that out. So thanks for those few of you that joined me. Thanks for everybody watching this on the recap. Don't know what else I'm going to have going on. I'm going to try. I got some other things I've been thinking about trying to do channel-wise, but I haven't got any of those plans worked out yet. So, yeah. with that, I am gonna get off of here. I know most everybody, I think everybody's went over to the Comic Core and their Y the Last Man. So we'll talk to you later. Bye.